Hello loves, I'm back. I'm back physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, thank God. If anybody ever needs proof of, what's the saying, every storm shall pass, or whatever the saying is, go back and listen to last week's episode and listen to today's, because thank God I'm back. I feel so much better. I was in the absolute pits last week recording. You couldn't tell me nothing. If you told me that 2 days later I'd be feeling positive and back to normal, then I would not have believed you. But I am. And you know what? No, like sometimes when you feel down, I feel like because the next day, quite literally the next day, I was okay again. The following day when I found actual happiness, it was like I had taken, I don't know, unicorn powder or something. I don't know what the equivalent is. Ecstasy, maybe? I don't know. It was like I was on top of the world because I was like, the sadness is gone and now I'm happy again. So, never take that for granted. Live, laugh, love forever. Anyway, I'm back. And one thing that did help me actually, like a lot, so I thought I'd pass it on to you guys, is now when you feel down, generally you think of everything bad. At least I do. It's like you think of one sad thing and then everything is sad. There's no hope. Everything is doom and gloom. Yeah, there's just no hope basically for the future. And literally that day I recorded, I was in bed all day. I was like, I'm writing the day off. I'm not doing anything. Like nothing is good enough for me right now. But I saw this thing where it said you should imagine the best case scenario for something. So next time you're feeling down or something hasn't gone your way, so for example, you get told that you haven't got the job, yeah, and you really wanted this job and you put all your hopes on it. If you're anything like me, you go to a job interview and in your head then you've already got it. Like I've already planned my life around that job. Like I've already moved into that office mentally. Like I already just envision everything about it, which I think is a good thing. Sometimes it helps to, put yourself in the future. But when stuff doesn't go to plan, it can really like halt you then and mess you up. So sometimes then I think, like, when I got told I didn't get jobs, because wow, I don't know if you guys know how many interviews over the years I've had. Like, my luck rate when it comes to interviews is, like, slim to none. It must be, like, 0.001%, right? And when something like that happens, I do go straight into worst case scenario and I'll be crying and I'm like, I'm never going to get a job I want. I'm going to be stuck here forever. That means that I'm never going to have time to do the podcast and there's no point and this is going to be my life forever and I will just spiral into the worst case scenarios. And honestly, I did it at the weekend and all you've got to do is switch to the best case scenario. Not that I'm interviewing for a job, by the way, just FYI, if anybody somehow from my new job listens to this and thinks I'm interviewing, I pray nobody from my work listens to this because I would die. But if somehow they do, I just want to say I actually love my job and I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent, but it's the first job I've actually loved and enjoyed. It's a really big moment for me in my life. If you've known me since I've been a corporate girly, this is massive. Anyway, you can switch it. I'm going off track massively. What I'm trying to say is switch it and think about the best case scenario for something. So the best case scenario would be that an even better job is going to come around, that is going to give you extra work from home days or more money or better people. Obviously, if you're going through a breakup, the worst case scenario is you're never going to see that person again. You're never going to feel like you have again for somebody else or, whatever, you feel lonely, like you can spiral so easily. And then the best case scenario is you're going to find somebody better. You're going to find yourself. You're going to be able to go out. Like, I think for any situation you can switch it where you end up thinking bad stuff. No, you start, by thinking bad stuff. And then you end it just by thinking of the best case scenario. And when I tell you, that alone just transformed my thought process. Well, that and my girl Cara, and obviously my therapist, who I'm low-key obsessed with. But yeah, that's my top tip for the week, guys. So please come and let me know if you try it, because I thought it was really groundbreaking. I wish I could remember where I heard it, pass you on, the podcast or the book, but I really can't, sorry. So anyway, that's my positive vibes. And in contrast, let's go into this week's story, because I haven't read it all, but I know it's not a good one. So here we go. She sent me one message. This was it, I remember now. She sent me one message. I've got a good story to tell you. It's a true story. And she sent me like the one, and I was like, you have to tell me more. And then I've left all the details for this episode because, I thought we could read them together. Okay, so she says, my ex cheated on me with a girl from work. She also has a partner there, and they all work together. On top of that, I found he paid for escorts while being with me. We were engaged twice, as he cancelled our first wedding and I took him back, and then he proposed to me again. This girl sent me this message. I was like, you have to tell me everything. How were you engaged twice? Juicy juice. So she said, I hired a private investigator who found out he was paying for escorts for years. We got engaged the first time after 4 years together, and it was fantastic. I'd organised the wedding, bought my wedding dress, but within a month of the wedding, he'd cancelled it. I was absolutely devastated. I left him, moved to my own place, and a month later, he begged me to come back, said he'd made the worst mistake ever. So I listened, I came back, he proposed to me again with a new engagement ring. Okay, girl, I see you. Getting a double diamonds there. Nice. 2 engagement rings, nice. Unless he took the other one back and exchanged it. But still, I do think it's... Well, I don't know. Would I rather be... Yeah, I think I would rather be proposed by a new ring. Because then I'd be thinking... Imagine like you got proposed to and then it broke off. I feel like... And then you got proposed... You got engaged after that. I feel like every time you'd look down on the ring, you'd remember the first proposal, wouldn't you? So, yeah, I like that. So big focus on the diamonds there. Okay, so he begged her to come back, worst mistake ever, proposes to her again with a new ring. I accepted and I went back to him just because I loved the guy. A year later, I found out he was cheating on me with a person from work. We all work together and they are still seeing each other, and her boyfriend just doesn't believe it. She's still got a boyfriend. Oh my God. What? Also, she is that vicious when her partner asked... Hang on. Also, she is that vicious that when her partner proposed to her, she said yes, but she didn't tell anybody, and she doesn't wear the engagement ring. Oh, do you know what that is? That is Carrie and Aiden, season 4 Sex and the City. They broke up because she'd had an affair with Big. They get back together, he proposes, and she can never get on board, remember? And she puts the ring around her necklace and says it was closer to her heart that way, and that's why she does it. Oh, imagine being the guy and you've bought a ring and you spent all that money on it. Like, it is quite a big deal, I think, for guys, the engagement ring. I know the girls think it is, but I think it's a big deal for guys as well, because obviously it's their money and, they buy in it, and I think it's a bit of like a... kind of like a status thing. Like, if you've got, obviously not all guys, but if you've got a certain group of guys, I think they all want to know what diamond they got. It's like watches, isn't it? Like, how much did you spend? What one did you get? And it's like a bit of a show, isn't it? So imagine doing all that and then the girl doesn't wear it, or like in Carrie's case, wears it around her neck. That is just a dagger straight to the heart, innit? I'm sorry though, I'd be like, if you don't put that ring on, I'm taking it to the pawn shop ASAP and I'm going to buy myself whatever a male might fancy. A watch, I suppose, would be the equivalent, would it? Sorry to generalise, but there's not a chance in hell I would be spending however much on an engagement ring, or, okay, switch it, however much on a watch for my man to not wear it. And I laugh. And they all work together. Oh God, that's heartbreaking. So wait, they all work together. So they all work together, and an affair happened within the workplace. Disgusting. My ex, his mistress, and her bloke made me crazy at work. They told everyone I've made this all up and he's left me due to this. They've been using work platforms for texting and flirting called Teams. Yes, I'm well aware of Teams. None of that shit goes down in my job, but somebody clearly is misusing Microsoft Teams, aren't they? That's not what it was intended for. It's intended for multi-person meetings. It's intended to get us through COVID, not to start work affairs, although I'm sure there are multiple that I've started via Teams. It's like when you start a new job and you click on and all the people appear on screen and you're like, Dave in marketing's looking quite nice today. I might hop over and see him next time I'm in the office. Ooh, he's described himself on luxurydate.com, which I don't know what that is, but best believe I'm going to check it out straight away. He's described himself on there as a generous man looking for fun, no strings attached. He has pictures of himself wearing a suit from his brother's wedding, which I took for him, and his fancy BMW car there to show that he is rich. But the poor guy only earns 47k a year, lol. Loads of laughing faces. He's lied on the how much do you earn per year tab. Wait, this sounds like a sugar daddy site. Nobody can believe what he's done, as he was the sweetest person, the kindest and quietest one ever. My family is in denial, we all are. Oh, that's made me sad. Okay, I feel like I need to recap because I went on a bit of a tangent there, sorry. So this girl is with a guy, everything's going well, they're together for 4 years, he proposes, all well and good. A month before the wedding, when everything's planned, he pulls out, comes back a month later with a new ring, which I'm still don't know if that's a red flag or not, I can't tell. I can't buy 2 engagement rings so close together, I don't know. And then only to find out a year later he's having an affair with someone in work and she's got a partner who she's also engaged to. It's just giving messy. And he's paying for escort. And I have to look on, what was it called? Luxurydate.com. Well, let's check this out then. If you see me with a profile on you soon, mind your business. Okay. Luxury date where successful and aspirational people meet. Millions of like-minded people are finding each other and starting relationships on Luxury Date. Okay, well, I'm not going to sign up. Oh, do you know what, though? I already don't like it. I've gone on I'm a woman, yeah, to sign up. One of the questions it asks before where you live. Oh, no, locations before. But okay, before other important things is your body type. Slim, fit, average, curvy, full-figured. Oh my God, I just know what type of website this is. This is a type of website where girls go on there that don't give a flying F about who they get with. They literally just want their rent paid or they want presents bought for them. And then rich, sleazy men go on here that, again, don't care about relationships and just want somebody hot in their arm and they don't care if they pay for it. It makes me sick. Oh, it's giving sugar daddy, but it's also giving sleaze. I definitely have met a couple of these people in real life in London, like old men with just young hot women. And honestly, I don't want to say in case he ever listens, but I'm too late, I'll spill it. I used to have an old boss that was like this, and I used to say to him, why don't you try and meet somebody your own age? Like somebody who appreciates you and who likes you and who actually wants a relationship. Because he'd get with these women, know what they were after, but then also get annoyed when they used to take advantage and be like, I need more than he's paying for all this stuff. And I'm like, but you drew them in that way. That's literally why they were there. But some guys deep down just don't care and it's so shallow and disgusting. I mean, the girl, you can't really judge the girl, like in your bag, wherever, you know, just why not, I suppose. But yes, it's wild out there. That is a really, really lot. Is that even a sentence? Really, really lot. That is a lot to deal with. Like, it's one thing to find out your partner's had an affair. To find out they've had an affair with a colleague and they're still together, that is like already double the pain, I think. To find out they've been paying for escorts as well is so hurtful, because that just makes them seem like a different person, I think. And I just feel like, why do you need to go and pay for escorts? Like, isn't it easier to just say, look, I really like somebody standing on my balls with a pair of heels on. I swear to you now, if anybody's listening and they think they've got the craziest fetish, I can assure you, your partner would rather hear that than you've been paying for escorts behind their back. Like, surely I'm speaking for us all there. I would much rather my boyfriend say to me, look, I've got this really weird thing and I want to strap on a fake udder and I would love you to milk me. I would much rather hear that than find out down the line that my partner has been paying £100 a time, £500 a month, however much, on escorts to do it for him. I'd be like, what, you don't think that I can get on board with milking you? Because I can. So bizarre that came to my head first. Is that even a thing? I don't even want to ask, to be honest. Oh, wow, yeah, I'm so sorry that you went through that. And very interesting that he was the sweetest, nicest person. I don't know what this means, but does it mean he's like a serial killer? Because he's having an affair with this woman. She probably doesn't know about the escorts, and she's probably thinking like, he's such a lovely guy and he would never usually have an affair and he's only gone for me because he obviously loves me. Not knowing that he must be like a crazy person. It's gotta be. To be that nice all the time and to not show any signs that anything is wrong when you're doing all that shit. Shady. So, yeah, guys, keep your stories coming as always. I know I've got a few backed up. Once again, if you're waiting for me to read it out, I will get to it, obviously. But, yeah, please send them over to sadie@loveoutluck.com or send me a DM. And, yeah, make sure you're following and sharing the stories and all that. By the time this episode comes out, guys, when you're listening to this on Tuesday, wherever you may be, I'm going to be in San Diego and I'm going to be living my life. I hope I've got this safe. That's the only thing I'll say. But I know I'm going to be living my life. So my bestie moved there 2 years ago now, I think, maybe a bit longer. So yeah, I'm going to go out and I'm going to stay with her. I've been there once before, but we only did 3 days there because I went on like a big tour of West California last time, and she's in a new apartment and that now, so it feels kind of like the first time, really. And yeah, I'm excited, but I've gone back in time, guys, right, to like my younger self this week. I've literally got to be up in 4 hours to get my flight, and here I am just sat recording, and I've been out as well. I went to a little podcast event tonight. Like, look at me, I'm just getting out there. I'm just on the scene now. I've been to 2 podcast events. I'm just loving it. I'm just going round and, you know, just that's it, really. It was in Essex. Debs from Towie was on it, which I think everyone says Towie, but allow it, I say Towie. Remember Debs, Lydia Bright's mother? She was there. Literally walked in. She was the first person I saw. I was like, wow, I actually am in Essex. But yeah, it was fun. I met like a couple of people. I mean, it wasn't like a big podcasting network, but yeah, I'm just living my life. I was like, flight tomorrow, no worries. I haven't recorded my podcast, no worries. Go to Essex for the night. Yeah, why not? Just, you know. My mother always says to me, you've got to take every opportunity that comes your way. So I'm a yes person at the best of times. So anyway, I've got some nice updates for us this week. So if you remember, or if you follow me or wherever, on Reels or wherever I've posted, wherever you follow me on social media, I posted a story on Valentine's Day saying this woman's story was with her partner for 17 years, and then she'd found out on Valentine's Day he was having an affair with a younger woman at work, and it was the Love Actually story. Do you remember? So she found out because she found receipts from Tiffany and stuff. And then on her Valentine's Day, she didn't get a Tiffany present. I think it was like Tiffany and Louis Vuitton. And yeah, she'd ordered something for her son on his Amazon account. And she saw it and then found out that he'd obviously bought it for somebody else. And then it all came out he was having an affair with a younger woman at work, right? It was literally Emma Thompson in Love Actually, in that scene that absolutely kills me. Oh, and I must have said it before, but allow it, I'm sorry. Do you know that Emma Thompson recreated that scene because she's been through something similar when her husband had an affair with Helena Bonham Carter? Definitely said it before because I'm having deja vu. Oh, it's just like the double entendre. It's the double hit of it. I swear I've said the words double entendre on this podcast so many times. I've never said it in my real life before, ever, to anyone. And I don't even know what it means. One of you might have told me what it means one time. I have no idea. I just like saying it. Oh, but it just kills me. I see that scene of her wiping her tears with the outer of her hands, and you just know they're big tears when you're using the wider part of your hand to wipe them, you know. Like if I cry, I'm going in with my fingers, you know, dip, dip, dab, dip, dip, dab. I feel by the time you're putting your full hands on, baby finger first, slabbing your hands against your cheeks, you're in the pits then. Like your tears must be just screaming out to you. So sad. Anyway, that's the story. And I read it out for Valentine's Day and I've posted it, yeah? You'll find it on my page. Anyway, she sent that to me at the beginning of last year. And the beginning of last year, and she ended the message saying, "It's taken me 2 full years to grieve my marriage and family unit, but I've finally fallen in love with me again. I love my life. I have 2 wonderful children. She's financially stable," and she said she's opening her heart and soul to the possibility of finding someone new eventually. Well, a year later, she has messaged me and said, "Hi Sadie, I have an update for you following my Love Actually husband cheating story. A week after I sent you my story, I reconnected with a guy I hadn't seen in 20 years since school. We had recently followed each other on Instagram and we got talking. We immediately hit it off and went on our first date within days. When I saw him for the first time, I felt an instant connection that I had never experienced before. The feeling was mutual and we saw each other a lot in the coming weeks. We quickly became exclusive. Fast forward a year later and we have just celebrated our first anniversary. I can honestly say this year has been the best year of my life. Of her life, guys. This woman was married for 17 years, or with a partner for 17 years, married for 7. And this year was the best year of her life, which I just love that. I have never felt so loved as I do by this man. We have a connection that is so deep and raw, and there's a level of intimacy that I've never experienced before. I honestly believe I've met my soulmate. We each have 2 children who get on great, and we are moving forwards as a blended family. I am now so grateful that things have worked out the way they have, with the cheating, lying and heartbreak aside. I would never have left my husband unless he did what he did, and if I hadn't, I would never have met my current partner. We are so excited for our future together, and I hope I am proof that even when life doesn't turn out as you had hoped and planned, it can mean that something better is on the way." Oh my God, when she sent that to me, even now, that just gave me goosebumps. I was like, I'm so happy that she sent that, because that story, like, it blew up a little bit. I mean, obviously, it had, like, I don't know how many K views or on the different platforms, yeah. But it's so sad. It's such a sad story. And I think that's why it blew up, because people are like, oh my God, you can imagine how hurt that would be. Imagine being with somebody for 17 years, your whole life getting turned upside down. Like breaking up with somebody after a year, breaking up with somebody after 6 months sometimes can be hard. Do you know what I mean? A year, 2 years, like you're always grieving that person and what you had. 17 years with somebody, that's your life. I can't even imagine it. And to find out that way, Emma Thompson in Love Actually, well, you know how I feel about it. It kills me. So I just think you would feel so low. But she took 2 full years to sort herself out and fall in love with herself and feel really good. Shared her story with me, which I'm so grateful at. Like, shared it with all of us, which is just amazing that she chose us. I feel so lucky for that. When I actually deep that, I'm like, wow, you've chosen to send this story to me. Sorry, my battery went. You've chosen to send this story to me and to us, and it's amazing. And then 1 week later, 7 days, guys, within 7 days of sending that message, she's reconnected with somebody from her past 20 years ago from school. Is it invisible thread? It's just, honestly, this is what I was saying to myself last week to pull me out of the hole. Like, things just work out. And you can feel so shit about something if it doesn't go how you thought it was going to go or wherever. But that type of story, I just think, is so nice. It just shows that everything does work out as long as you're open to it and, you're positive and all the rest of it. Just what a story. Imagine being married to someone for 17 years. Like, she said she would never have left him if he hadn't done that. And now she's found her true love and soulmate. Oh, absolutely love her. She said she hasn't stopped smiling all year. I'm that irritatingly happy friend. We went on a bucket list trip to Iceland for our anniversary. And she loves it. She said, I love your podcast. I listen every week. So I hope you're listening this week because, that was such a lovely, lovely story. I've actually got lots of stories for us this week, guys. I've got that anonymous one, do you remember? Which, by the way, I got another message from somebody on you saying, are you interested in real life dating? Well, how can it be real life dating if you're sending on an anonymous link? Is what I'm going to say to you. Is that not the most bizarre thing ever? So unfortunately, no, I'm not interested in that. Anyway, here we go. So here's the one that I mentioned last week. Hope I'm not going too back to back with stories, actually. Can you please let me know? And I know I'm asking for feedback a lot the last couple of weeks, but do you want just like back to back stories, or is it better to have a little break? Because, obviously I can come into you with any other story about what's going on in my life, if you like. Actually, guys, I have got something that I'm going to interrupt before we go back, because some of these stories, they do take a lot, don't they, especially for me. I really get into them and I envision myself there, so it's nice to pick it up. And I've got to tell you something that I've learned this week, another thing that I heard on a podcast, which I've got to pass on to you. This therapist on there said that you can't make new decisions based on old data. So what that means is if you and your partner or your friend have gone through something together, like say, let's use a friend as an example. Say you've gone through something with a friend and you've fallen out. And then 6 months later, you're talking about something and she says, I'm going to move out because I need space, wherever. And then you were remembering a time that she wanted to move in with you and you argued over it. I don't know, this is such a bad example. I'm sorry. I try not to make it all about couples because I know we've got some single gals here, or whatever. Say somebody betrays you. I think this is easier to say. Say somebody betrays you, right? But then a few months later or weeks later, wherever, you're then talking to them about something else and they suggest something that triggers you from what they've done before. The therapist said not to react or make decisions on that because that's old data. Or even we could look at it as that example of getting with somebody new. Like if you get with somebody new, right, and they say, okay, I've got a work social tonight and they're expensing in a hotel for us. If you kick off and you've only got in a relationship with this person, you've been with them maybe 4 months, they've never given you a reason to not trust them, but previously your ex cheated on you with somebody in work at a conference. if you react and are like, no, I don't want you to do that, and you feel really triggered by it, that's because you're reacting and making a decision based on old data. So you're reacting based on something that's already happened and it's not present now. And I just thought it's really useful to remember that things change every single day and people change. And you can't look at old data. Same as like with us. Like I'm going away. I hope I could tell you next week I'm going away. I don't want to tell any details because it's not booked yet. But I'm meant to be going away with my friend, and she was on about like going out and stuff, and now like at the minute I'm not drinking, and we were just saying like how mad it is that we're on a different vibe than we have been before, and that's just what's so interesting. I saw my friend tonight and she doesn't drink anymore. I feel like I'm somehow attracting like a load of sober friends, but which is good for me. But it's because you change, things change, people change, situations change. But I feel like sometimes we get stuck and we just revert back to old data. So anyway, sorry, I'm on my therapist vibe, and I really hope it's not annoying, because every week, but I'm saying it to my friends as well, every week I'm like, oh, my girl Karen has said this to me this week. Oh, I really need to try and stop it, guys. I'm sorry. But I just think like when I use something useful, I've got to pass it on because it might help somebody else, you know? That's my vibes. Also, I got my nails done earlier, and I'm sorry. They're the nicest nails I've ever had done, and they took 3 hours. Guys, I was in the nail salon for 3 hours. My battery went on my phone. I was having back problems there, and I was thinking to myself, if I'm struggling, think how much this woman is struggling, because she's had a woman before me and she's going to have somebody after me. And here I am moaning in my head that I'm at the nail salon for 3 months but 3 hours. Like, it's a blessing that I was able to do that. But was it my choice to spend 3 hours in the nail salon? No. But you know, every time I look down on them, I'm like, oh my God, they're gorgeous. I'm just going to put them to the camera. The lighting shirt, I don't know if you can see them. They're red tips. I'll put a picture of them on Instagram, and I love them. Okay, sorry, I think I've gone on enough of a tangent. Let's go into this story that was sent anonymously a few weeks ago. So I want to tell you about the boy that led a double life. I met a guy at a comedy show, and at the time he was married, so I didn't think anything of what a relationship could be. He followed a mental health page I supported, and he wrote in anonymously once saying how he felt trapped in his marriage and how the page made him feel strong enough to leave. The page and I supported him through this and used him as an example to men to speak out. He'd lost his mum suddenly, and according to him, he was married to a woman who he claimed had groomed him. Anyway, the full community got on board, and him and I developed a friendship. Now, it was completely platonic for 6 months because I never wanted to be that woman who interfered in a relationship. 6 months later, he was at his dad's house staying, and we slowly started to become a couple. It was pure bliss. I am a single mum of 2, and after a cancer diagnosis and a bad relationship, I only wanted to introduce my children to what great looked like. We were seeing each other for a year, and he was turning 40 in the July. I'm not one for social posts, so no one knew about him. He turned 40, and I took him away to a cabin for the weekend with a hot tub. Now, after a year, it was still on my terms, which I thought he respected. If I had available time, he was there. If I had a free night midweek, he stayed over. So by the time of his birthday, I was certain he loved me, and also that I was ready to introduce him to my children. We went to the lodge, and it was perfect. I paid for everything as a treat, and that Sunday he met my kids. The following weekend, he started a new job, and this new job went from self-employed to employed. He had a night out on the Friday, and I was supposed to pick him up. The only problem is he never phoned me. Oh my God. Guys, there's no more other messages on you. Remember I said I was going to write it all out? Well, I didn't, because I realised that it was my fault that I couldn't understand, and it actually was in order. I just needed to click on it differently. So I thought I'd read it live, and it's ended there. It's a cliffhanger. Please, 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 if you're listening, send the rest of the story in. Why would you stop there? Unless there's a cap on how many messages you can send. Oh, let's play fill in the blanks at what happened. Clearly something's happened on this night out, because she was meant to pick him up and he never phoned her. And with the whole double life thing, maybe he never broke up with his wife. Who knows? This is like, do you remember Jazz from Traitors? And he didn't know that his father fully had another life, like another wife, kids, full family behind all their backs. Like a double life liver. Wow, that's the worst. And that does give serial killer vibes. I'm sorry, to be able to lie consistently like that to so many people for such a long time is scary. It's scary, scary hours. Okay, well, I'm going to have to wrap it up, sorry, because I've got to be up and go on a flight. So hopefully I will wake up. I love a long haul flight to just switch off. Like, I feel like generally, it's probably a woman thing. I don't know. I have how many thoughts a day? You just think non-stop about stuff to know you're always on the go. And a long haul flight for me is the one time I actually switch off. And it's like time stands still for me, honestly, on a long haul flight. It's like I just think, I don't need to think about anything. I'm uncontactable. Nothing matters. I can't do anything about anything in this moment. So I'm just going to enjoy it. And that's why most of the time I fall asleep on a plane before it even takes off. It's like as soon as the wheels start going on the runway, I'm like, God, I'm like the most annoying person to travel with. My friend's like a really anxious flyer and she always like wants to talk and I'm like, I'm just dozing off. And I fall asleep in moving vehicles very easily. Like you cannot keep me awake in a car. Did I tell by the time I went to Bali by myself and I got on the taxi and I was young and like a solo traveler and I was like, stay awake in this taxi. You've seen Take and you know what can happen. No, 2 minutes later I was like, take me. I'm just going to sleep here. Just let me have a bit of a rest. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go to sleep and try and have a couple of hours and catch my flight. I hope you all have an amazing week. Come and let me know what you're up to, any stories you've got. Wow, I literally can't talk. You can tell I'm tired, can't I? Let me know what stories you've got, what's happening with you, what you want to hear. All the rest of it, you know, I just absolutely love talking to you guys. So yeah, thank you so much. And I'll speak to you when I'm back.